K. Dakshinamurthy from Chennai. I request him to come on stage. I'll give a quick introduction. I know we are running out of time. He holds, Dr. Sthapathi K. Dakshinamurthy holds BSc in Temple Architecture, MBA in Philosophy, Culture and Religion, PhD from Tamil University. He is also an expert Sthapathi advisor for Hindu Religious Charitable Endowment Department, Tamil Nadu. Managing trustee in Dr. V. Ganapati Sthapathi's Vastu Vedic Trust. Former expert advisory committee member Sri Venkateshwara Institute of Traditional Sculpture and Architecture, TTD Tirupati. He has designed more than 100 temples, not only limited to India, but also in US, UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. He has authored many books, to name a few: Uli Edathukal in Tamil, The Architectural Legacy of Dharmaraja Ratnam, The Introspection in Indian Architecture. He has also published many articles, research papers in many reputed journals. He has won many awards, to name a few: Kala Chennai State Award received from Government of Tamil Nadu. He has received gold medal from Sri Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister of India, in Bangalore. Shilpa Kala Ratnam title award received from Singapore, then President Sri S.R. Nathan. Shilpa Sudamani title award received in Montreal, Canada. Vastu Shilpa Kala Saharam felicitated by Sri S.M. Krishna, former Chief Minister of Karnataka. Now I request Dr. Dakshinamurthy to deliver his paper, present his paper.
My dear scholars, actually I did not bring any PPT today. I sat last 1 week, the full week for the preparation for this seminar. I actually prepared it for presentation. It's a research paper. So mostly I will read. I think only otherwise the time constraint I cannot exceed. I wish to thank the organizers of Shilpa Vidya Samucchaya for the efforts rendered to see the grand stage for the forgotten Shilpa. Actually, it is forgotten. My topic is how divinity is brought into images. Yeah. I'm not going to talk any mythological points. It's all pure scientific. God or divinity is brought by the ancient Shilpi scientists responsible for the images and temples made on this earth planet. It's a resourceful topic in the need of the hour to understand what the seventh sense is. How can Shilpis be called scientists must be informed here. My dear world of students, please lend me sometime your ears to hear the unheard, unspoken, and they intentionally made hidden the voice of Sthapathi. Note it down. For example, how we are hidden. During English times, hundreds of structures were made. We have our own Indian born indigenous architects we have, though we are forgotten. We are not allowed to construct the railway station, the high courts, and many structures of English time. They brought the English architects from outside and they have constructed. From that time onwards, the people are hidden from it. So unspoken and intentionally made hidden the voice of Sthapatis. Sthapatis know Sthapatya Shastras are not merely craft persons. They are not merely chiseling the desires of Kartas. Please write it in your heart that, according to scholar P.K. Acharya, who interpreted Manasara, says Sthapatis are the Director General of all nation building activities. Give a clap, please. He is the one who called Sthapatis because in Sanskrit it is written in Manasara that Sthapatihi Sthapanarkaha said no. Sthapanadipatihi Sthapatihi Yasmat Tasmat Sthapati Ruchete. You understand it is one who is doing the national building activities, who is the Director General of all activities, who is really the Sthapathi. Now where we are. Mayamata, Manasara, and Samarangana Sutradhara speak elaborately about who a Sthapathi is and his vast knowledge of all the sciences. Divinity is the Supreme Self, the Paramatma, the Brahman. How can a small Shilpi bring Almighty through his tiny fingers? Let us see, and you will give finally a big ovation to the Shilpis of Bharat. Rather than Shilpis, no one can claim for the creation of temples and deities. Rather than Sthapatis, no one can claim for the creation of temples and deities of Bharat. Yeah. Everyone may have desires and money, and if an intelligent Shilpi is not available, how would they build the desires in stone? A great shloka from Mayamata says, Prasadadini Vastuni Vastudaha Vastu Samshaya. What it is. Mayamata authorizes that the residential buildings and temples are built with the soul. More than that, what we want. It is neither an easy-going shloka nor an effortless saying of the very authentic Vatu Shastra of ancient times. This is the shloka authorizing Shilpis that they are the soul creators. They are the soul creators. This is the shloka authorizing Shilpis that they are the soul creators. Prasadadini Vastuni is what is the meaning? All the structures produced by a human being by following the great Vastu Shastras written by the Sthapatis. Vastutaha, what is the meaning? Denotes actually, specifically. Vastu Samshaya means the substance or energy or soul is joined or enclosed with the built space. When the soul is enclosed means no doubt a temple or a building is an authentic organic structure. It is a temple or a structure constructed by a Sthapathi is an organic structure. It is not made out of only brick and mortar. It is made with soul. It is not simply saying it is made out of soul, that you see further how. The ancient Sthapatis are the great visionaries. They to bring invisible divinity into the visible images have traveled for many hundreds of years by holding the tools and machines on their sweating shoulders. It is not easily they found. They found by traveling hundreds of years, bearing the tools and machines on their sweating shoulders. It is a true travel towards epistemological studies. You know what is epistemological studies? The cosmic studies. Should be spoken in the stage. The unpretentious, and cognitive people of our Bharat, you know what is unpretentious. They will not dance what we are doing, and they are very cognitive, they are very intelligent. Of our Bharat have traveled from known matters to unknown to decipher the great truth. It is not the travel from the unknown towards the same unknown. You know, traveling from known to unknown is something different from unknown travel to unknown. It is not the travel from the unknown towards the same unknown, yielding confusion and arguments. I think you will understand what I'm talking. We have the concept of crystal clear. We already invented, we already shown what is Ardhanarishwara long back. It's not the new, it is not 4th, 5th century, it's long ago we found. The science, the mathematics, the geometry, all hidden, not only Shilpis, our science also hidden. It is practical. I want to reiterate the term 3 times to emphasize the path of Shilpi is practical, 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 and not either fake or imaginary stories. Mind it, it's not imaginary story. Before going into depth, we should keep some important matters in mind, which is to be explained understandably. To build a structure, dimension, form are the two vital elements involved therein. They are scale measures and forms. Dimensions are numerical numbers, whereas form is the physical structure. A physical form cannot be done without the intervention of dimension. Like a word cannot be constructed without a meaning. For instance, a brick's physical form is the volume of the burnt clay. If a dimension is not applied, clay would not become a brick. They are very simple matters I explain. In order to explain you, in order to understand you what actually the science behind the tradition. And just if a dimension is not applied, clay would not become a brick. Another example is that it is like a word and meaning in a language. Thus, in Sthapathya, the Vastu is enshrined with Vastu. You know, why I told you that shloka, the previous one I told you, no, this is the continuation of that one. Prasada Devi, Vastuni, Vastudaka, Vastu Samshaya, what that is. There the Vastu was enclosed, the Vastu is enshrined with the Vastu. So, Vastu is physics and the Vastu is life. Now, we will try to understand where the dimensions come from for making worshipping images. A beautiful verse in Vishwamitra Samhita tells that Devalayasya Nirmanam, Devasya Cha Nirmidam. You understand? Both are equal. Making a temple also equal to making a deity. Whatever the mathematical geometry, whatever applications we are applying for making a deity, it is equally we are doing for the structure also. This is the science what we adopt. Means the built structure is also a sculpture. Why? Because the abstract structure is configured mathematically on par with the deity's composition. Here, one must notice that the God is brought mathematically. You write it in your heart. The God is brought by mathematically and not through illusion or fallacies. This should be spoken to the world. For that reason, I have come here and standing in front of you. The form of God is brought by intelligent mathematics. How? You see further. It is read very carefully, this could change. If it is read carefully, this could change a person who has no faith in God. This will change a person who has no faith in God. The measuring scales for making deities from the very remote past, called as linear scale taking. A sum of 8 atomic particle is one chariot dust. It is the table of dimension system what we use nowadays. Also, all these dimension systems are in use. This is the 3,000, 4,000 years old system still in application. That is why our heritage is undying heritage. We are the people safeguarding our heritage by following all our this heritage is called all the science behind our structures or sculptures. That is called intangible heritage. You know that intangible heritage is still protected in making all tangible heritages. So that table says a sum of 8 atomic particles in one chariot is one chariot dust. You must clearly have to watch what I'm talking. It is the chariot dust. The chariot dust size of measure is equivalent to 8 atomic particles. Chariot dust is termed in Sanskrit Rathareno and in Tamil Tertugal. Tertugal in Tamil. 8 car dust or 8 Rathareno is one immi. 8 immi is one C-shaped shade. Likewise, 8 paddy grain is angular, 12 angular is one with a steel, 24 angular is one molar. All these things are all repeated all over the ancient system of measuring scale. Now, see the dimensions multiplied by 8. Why? It has to be explained about the number 8 is chosen for enumeration. For instance, multiples of 8 atoms are equal to 1 chariot dust. Chariot dust is a visible unit, but Anu cannot be seen. Anu is 8 multiples of Paramanu, which is untold in this table, called the subatom, which is further deep and invisible. See the track and try to visualize how our Shilpi scientists have traveled beyond conception, beyond and further beyond. They traveled up to the this Paramanu. The Paramanu is, please take note, the Paramanu is nothing but Paramatma, Brahman. If you divide the Anu by 8 divisions, out of 8 divisions, 1 division is called the Paramanu. It is invisible. My dear audience, this is the mathematics found and applied for making all ancient structures and sculptures. To keep them for an endless living time by beating the natural, I think it's very interesting. To keep them for an endless living time by beating the natural creations, for creating the natural creations of the so-called Brahma. One beautiful aphorism says, Brahma's creations will vanish by time. But Maya's, the creator's creations will long live like Ajanta Ellora and Brigadishwar. You know, because we have taken the science, we have taken the dimension system from the nature. Who produced the nature? From him we took the dimensions and beating Brahma to long live this tradition and as well as the structures. In Tamil it is Mayaneri Atral, Ayaneri Diko. Ayan means it is Brahma. Maya means the creator. What these Maya is created, it will vanish the Brahma's creations. So that's why, hence the sculptors of Bharat are Shilpi Rishis, or the practice-oriented scientist Shilpis. By their inner eye only, the autumn can be seen and not by others, because these Shilpi rishis are the Ganidajnaha, told by our ancient literature that these people are Ganidajnaha, the mathematicians, the genuinely intelligent people. More than myself, who is going to praise our Shilpis? The verse is Paramana Proktam, Paramana Proktam, Yogina Drishti Kocharam. The so-called Paramana is visible only to the yogis. Here, yogis to be known as Sthapathis. Why? Because seeing Paramana is not a simple seeing. Yeah, I wrote one more book in English called Introspection in Indian Architecture, where I told it is a Sthapathi yoga. Why it should be called Sthapathi yoga? The yoga nowadays, this Ashtanga yoga, like yogas nowadays, we people are doing only for attaining something for self sake, for individual sake. Whereas this Sthapathi yoga is meant for others' sake. Shilpi does the yoga for the benefit of the public. We do the sculpture for giving everything for the devotees, for the public, for the society. That is why this has to be called a yoga. So who is the substance? So why? Because seeing Paramanu is not only simply seeing, but indeed aiming it by dividing Anu by 8 particles. Paramanu is nothing but Paramatma, who is the substance where from all the aims for creating worldly objects and sculptures take form is called envisioning. Envisioning is seeing inside. Unless you will see inside what you are wanted to go, what you wanted to do will not happen if you don't feel inside. That feeling, that thought is called the envisioning. That envisioning, where it happens, it happens in the Paramanu point. So, where all the aims for creating worldly objects and sculptures take form is envisioning to manifest. Envisioning and manifestation is the core theory of any outcome by an artist. Everyone can understand that if arrow is not aimed well, it will not hit the target. Aiming happens at the point of Paramanu point in the holy heart. If you know psychology, this could be quickly understood. Why 8 is used for multiplication is 8 is perfect or Purna. The meaning of 8 in Tamil is Ettudal. Don't feel that Tamil and I think you will be able to understand. I know Kannada also. In Ettu, N2 is in Kannada, in Tamil Ettu. There is no more difference. It's all Dravidian. The mother, it's all Dravidian languages. I think you could easily understand. There is one don't help there. One is Ondru. Ondru is it's oneness. So, get to the reaching or completion of the aim. Isavasya Upanishad எறும்பும் தன் கையால் எஞ்சான். That means the face, that is it is a multiples of 8 dollars. $1 is the one face of ant's face. $8, it is equal to 8. It is told 3,000 years before. More Tamil terms are more meaningful and primitive, has absolute meanings for all the numbers from 1 to 8. I think if you check with the Kannada also, it will be matching. The primary numbers through which it is found that every activity is very important. You must give me Nobel Prize for this. That much important. I'm putting this in this dice. I have not told anywhere. Tamil terms are more meaningful and primitive has absolute meanings for all the numbers from 1 to 8, the primary numbers, through which it is found that every activity from aiming to reaching the form attains 8 stages called evolution. It is the evolution of time and nothing else. 1 to 8 is the symbol of evolution of time. Number 1 denotes oneness, signifies a dot of its. I have to compare with the geometry, but then we will be able to understand. Signifies a dot of the center of a square in a geometry called Brahmasthana, Brahma Bindu, where everything generates. It has to be explained geometrically to grasp easily and exactly. Oneness is all inclusive, and it is a substance like a tree encapsulated in one seed. 2 means to divide by 2, where one dot becomes 2 dots, which is nothing but splitting on account of creation. Where one dot becomes 2 dots, which is nothing but splitting on account of creation. One can understand that 2 dots signify dimension and form to grow. Time and the form and dimension to grow. Likewise, the 1 dot further becomes 3 dots. The third dot denotes friction. We call it Moodal. Moodal means it's friction in Tamil. And 4 dots called Nautudal. That means if you just imagine a square geometry, that's the center point 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. If you pick the 4th point, is called the Nautudal. That means it's like it will look like a pillar leg. And why we do all these things means we have to design, the 5th, we have to go for the 5th, 6th, and 8th to reach the destination. So, for dots are forming a square geometry with diagonal points by adding the 5th point called Aidal. 5 means Aidal means it's just this preparedness. It's start rotation. Unless it rotates, things will not move. Means evolves. Aru, the 6 means preparedness. That is Arudal. Yelu, the 7 stands for jumping up. Yelu. And the 8 is reaching the aimed goal. The jumping line for attainment is a perpendicular Brahma Sutra, for which I am explaining all these things. The central line passing through at the center of the Garbhagriham, at the place of Brahmasthanam, that sutra is called the Brahma Sutra. That become later Shivalinga, that I will tell you. Thus, thoughts become things. This is the activity numbered and geometrized for every activity, all the dimensions. Because in our language, we can easily understand it has its meaning itself. We don't want to go to the dictionaries and ask many people. Acting itself, one room which is easily even small baby can understand the meaning. One room is one to that is its oneness. Likewise, if you check, all the numbers are activities. Time is hence this can be further understood that time is the cause of every creation. Aindiram. We have a beautiful text called Aindiram. You must read. காலக்கூரே கணக்கியலாகி சீதம் குறிக்கும் எட்டு எட்டெட்டு இயன்றே. It is the science. For example, if a seed is next, I will explain you. I don't want to bore you. For example, if a seed is planted and takes about 6 years to grow 8 feet. If a seed is planted, it will take 6 years. Suppose it will take 6 years to grow 8 feet. The time spent in 6 years and the height grows 8 feet. It is all examples I'm going to narrate what is time. Here the time measure is 6 years and the linear measure is 8 feet. Linear measure, the time measure. You just think about both. Time is to be equated to height. Time is equivalent to height. What a great epistemological mathematics our ancestors found and they introduced in architecture and architectural music too is something different, It is applied in the music also. Yes, the music contains time units called Talaganitham. The same term Talaganitham is followed in making a physical form for architecture also. Hence, architecture is visual music and music is the audible architecture. It is interesting to note that our literature further detailed the same linear table units or audible table units also in the form of Kalaganitham. Anutukal becomes Anuswaras. Tertukal length is also Tertukal Kalam. I told you already, Tertukal, Mimmi, Yellow, all only linear measures. The same one is available for time measure also. So likewise, Immi length, Immi Kala, Yellow length, Elli Kala, the linear measure is equivalent to time length. This is the science found in our Vastu Shastras. One another significant reason to be explained why the visible Tertukal of the chariot dust size is identified. Why this Tertukal is identified as a benchmark visible size for creating other sizes and to establish size of indivisible Paramana. We hear about Tejomayam Brahma. It is the Upanishadic word. The God is in light form. The traditional dimensions derive from the light particle to make lively light gods. That's all. It is not magic, and the God forms created on the earth are created by God's science, is created by human being. I want to reiterate here, as told in the literature, that Bhagavat Jnanam is Bhagavat Vijnana. Hence, why not be called ancient scale system produced objects or the organic structures? For human creations, column is the factor, column itself changes into material forms. Now I'm going to finish. Very importantly, you have to watch. This is the final page. Time or periodicity is a worshipable word in the whole world of human life, which is told in literature as Moolastamba, exhibited at Brahmasthana of Garbhagriha, can also be called as Kalastamba. Is very essential one to study. Also will help to understand about the science of Vastu Shastras. This is the great vital and immortal energy invented by our Shilpi ancestors. In another way, Kala is the representation of goddess Kali. Time only generates, operates, and destroys. The abbreviated version of English term God for the three attributes of time. This Jiva or Shiva narrated in Linga form of vibration. Vibrant time represents the Linga with square, octagonal, and I think you will all know mostly Linga is formed with the square at the bottom, the stem, octagonal, circular. I don't want to explain all these things. That all narrated in Linga form of vibration that represents the vibration. Vibrant time represents the Linga with square, octagonal, circular geometries. Time is geometrized. Top view as chakra and in elevation linga or stamba. Kala chakra, where in top speed, represents circle. Circle shows the attribute of tamasic guna. Its reduced speed is an octagon, and in stillness it is a square geometry called Sattvic or Brahma Bhaga or Nakara. Time's vibration is a perfect modulation called rhythm, where in the graceful dance of Shiva is born. I want to tell you where the dance of Shiva is taken birth. It is taken birth out of Shivalingam. Dance of Shiva is born and exhibited as Nadaraja. Rajaraja's inscriptions say the grand linga of Tanjavur, big temple, is Adal Palla. I hope you could accept that science is the resource of Indian architecture and nothing else, where Kala Brahman is the Sukshma Linga installed at the center of Garbhagriha. The Sthula Linga is the grand Garbhagriha, where the geometries influenced the structure. So, Linga worship is time worship. Hence, Linga is intelligently designed. The knowledge for creating such wonderful form is intelligence, and which is only genuine intelligence. There is no artificial intelligence. And indeed, the term artificial intelligence is a false terminology. A beautiful verse of Purva Karanakama states, more importantly, that where the perfect dimension followed for making deities and temples, the Almighty will come spontaneously into the image. That is called Manena Nirmide Bimbe Swayam Abadi Devata, means the statue, the deity or a structure is prepared, chiseled according to the Mana Lakshana, what told in the Vastu Shilpa tradition. If it is followed, the divinity will come itself to the deities. Manena Nirmide Swayam Abadi Devata. On this fine occasion, I wish to bow my heads to the sculptors and architects of Bharat, called Sthapathis, and wish to garland everyone for remembering their services rendered by all our ancestors to the well-being of humankind. In my paper, I have brought up some valuable matters on Shilpa, and hope this will take you to further to decipher the undying glory of our Bharat. I want to explain some of the researches here. I want to make a note here, why? Because this is called science of sculpture. What I explained. This is called science of architecture. In the morning session, I viewed somebody to the first scholar who told, must be to read carefully instead of seeing it superficially. So I have seen many researches on superficial research. All it is called, superficial research should be stopped. You have to go into the deep science. We have number of Vastu Shilpa Shastras. You don't go, if you are not getting the Vastu Shastras or Shilpa Shastras, don't worry. Because every temple is a lesson for us. Every temple is a Vastu Shastra. You can read it. No one can destroy it. In the history, all the Shastras are gone away. I read in the olden days, Now I understood that nobody can destroy our ancient Shastra. Why? Because all living temples are living Vastu Shastras. Every Vastu Shastram, every temple is a Vastu Shastram. Please go and study and do the useful research called scientific research. Go into the temples and study it. If not available, it doesn't matter. And thank you very much for all your passion, and thank you very much for the opportunity given by this organization, both organizations. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
It was an enriching experience listening to him. Sir, I wish we had enough time to listen to him continuously. No, but it was absolutely fine. I'm sure all of us, the next time when we go to temple, we have a different perspective and different eyes to look at it. Thank you so much, Dr. Dakshinamurthy, sir.